asking you, do you think it's unhealthy that people are bucketing all that is bad, coronavirus, social unrest, political unrest, all the chaos, economic issues? Everybody has said that's all 2020. It was a horrible year, and we're happy we're moving beyond the year. But clearly the year is totally arbitrary. Like nothing happened last week to this week. It's all the same. Do you think is there a problem with us saying that's 2020 and now it's 2021, so moving on in a positive way?
I think it was unhealthy when we were in it, but now I do feel like now people's mindset are changing that it's 2021. So like when we were in it and it was like, this is just 2020. And I agree. I was one of those people because I feel like everything bad was happening. And I felt like it just like would stagnate. Like we're just waiting for this virus to go away and we're just waiting for and like it didn't go away.
Right.
You know, like I will get fit when it goes away.
Yeah.
Or I will, look for a new job, but now we're a year out, still here.
Right.
So I felt like it was unhealthy for people to just sit and do nothing and wallow in the news cycle.
Yeah. And so the fact that it's 2021, if so you're saying whatever it takes to get them out of that bad mental place is good.
Well, yeah, I think we needed a reset. Yeah. At the time, going back to 2020, I would have been like, you can't wait for this. You can't wait to try and get a new job when the virus leaves because, like, I remember in March, we thought we were only going to be on a lockdown for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really ready for it to be over. I want that vaccine.
You didn't like our New Year's Eve Zoom calls?
No.
Me too. I was like, how do we wrap this up faster?
Yeah. Yeah. So what are your New Year's? So Allison loves a good New Year's resolution. You like a good birthday wish. You like a good like any marker to set a new year. You like intentions.
Yes.
So do you have a New Year's intention?
I have 2.
Okay, what are they?
I want to belly laugh more, like way more. I want to laugh so hard this year. I don't know how to do that.
I know.
It's a weird, but it's true. Like I want a funnier, more playful year than it has been in the past.
Yeah. There's a part of me that feels like that means that perhaps I'm not funny enough. Do I need to be more playful?
No, but I just feel like because like we're in the work grind. We get in the work grind. We have the kids grind. We have the temper tantrum grind. That like, there's not many and less friend time. I feel like we just don't have as many like hysterical moments.
Yeah.
And I would like more of that.
Okay, so but what are you gonna do to get how do you make that actionable?
I don't know. I think I need to not take myself so seriously and seek out funny things. If you have any advice, let me know. I'm still working through that one, but I'm serious about it.
I think it's good. I just don't know how I think it's a good intention.
Yeah.
I just don't know what you do to make that happen.
And my other one is I want to be more interesting. I feel like I feel
interesting.
Well, sometimes I just don't feel like I'm very interesting. I think it's because I'm in the little kid mom world where I feel like we talk about summer camp. Are we going to get our kid into summer camp this year?
Yeah.
And diapers. And
okay, so I do
baby
think
food.
So I do think that you underemphasize the cool things that you're doing. Like when someone asks you what do you do for a living, you're like you couldn't be worse at making your job sound interesting. Like I feel like and I think it's because you don't want to brag, so you like diminish it. But that as a consequence, that means that there's no conversation about you, and then you become less interesting because you're like, oh, I just do this thing. You don't really settle into it.
Well, there's 2 reasons I do that. I think my job is hard to understand. Like I think I've learned to explain it, but even people outside of my world, they're like, wait, what? and then the other thing is, like, I get super geeky about the science of my job, and I don't feel like people can track that. Not because they're not smart, just because they're just not in that world. And so they're like, I'm like, we're going to be blah, 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 and it's so exciting. And then people are like, oh, okay. It's just not something.
That's interesting. I'll just say, so Allison used to be a pharmaceutical sales rep, and she would go to parties. This is a long time ago, but she would go to parties, and people would ask her, what do you do? And instead of just saying, I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep, she would go, I peddle drugs. And
I sling pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. And then, and she thought, just like right now, she thought that was hilarious. But she wouldn't like follow it up and say, here's the company I work for, and here's a specific medication I sling, right? She just walks away. And people are always like, what?
Is she a pharmacist?
What drug is she? Yeah, is she a pharmacist? Is she a drug dealer? What?
I'm getting better at that. But so I think what would make me feel more interesting is being more passionate about something. So I'm very passionate about my kids and all that, but I don't think that that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I think finding some passion.
I think you should make that your goal for the first quarter.
Finding passion.
Yeah, don't say like I want to find something. I want to find passion somehow over the next year. Be intentional in 3 months. What are you gonna? And in the next 3 months, actively engage in activities that will help you find passion.
Passion.
You can't just do the same thing and hope that you stumble upon passion. You have to actively pursue it.
I think that's true.
Do you want to ask what my New Year's resolution is?
Mm-hmm.
Be funnier so that my wife belly laughs more. That's the new one. And I'm gonna try to make sure that I am uploading a new video. I want to try and be more consistent about uploading a new video every 7 days.
You don't do it that often?
I'm pretty close, but I'm not organized about it. Like I feel like my life is too chaotic. Like I don't work out at the same time every day. I don't work at the same time. I don't family time at the same time. I don't YouTube at the same time. Like I wish I could just say I work out every morning at 8:00 and I do YouTube videos every Saturday morning. And I want to be structured about it so that I get more in. Because I think what happens is I have all these things that are going on and I'm always trying to adapt, and I like take pride in this flexibility. But that flexibility, I think, creates a wake for those around me, and maybe it's not the best thing. And I think if I can say I'm uploading once every 7 days and I do it at this specific time, I think I'll be more impactful without creating the wake.
I agree. I think having more structure in your day, like for you, having a better morning routine would set you up for a better day.
Yeah. Can I play devil's advocate? That is my goal, but can I just play devil's advocate? So some people, and I think there's really good research to back this up, people that are creative, and it's not that I'm not saying that I'm creative, but that there are times when you are like psychologically in a creative mindset. There's a time when you are energized and motivated and excited about doing something creative. And if you don't capture that, then you can miss it. Like there are times when people will feel like artists will be like, I'm so interested in this piece of art and I want to do it for 7 hours in the middle of the night. And if they don't do that 7 hours of art and they wait until 8 a.m. and try and work during the typical business hours, they may not have that creative energy at the time. That's how I convince myself, like, oh, this is fine that I'm doing it.
I think being aware of when your creativity or your best working time is, then set your other things around it. Like, so I feel like your best creative juices happen from 10 to 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
But then like, I feel like you just make it worse by like Pelotoning at 11:30. You like don't go to bed till and then to be completely honest, you're crusty in the morning.
Yeah,
I think you need to protect your energy levels.
I agree, and I have to also like I don't think I'm a creative. Like it's not like I'm not painting. you know what I mean? Like I'm doing not that creative
I
stuff.
also
Like,
think you're not efficient with your time sometimes because I feel like you like to scroll social media. I really feel like it takes a lot of your time away.
Yeah, I agree a little bit to that with that. I deleted TikTok. Have we talked about TikTok on here?
Well, you deleted TikTok. Yeah, I don't know if we have, but
Okay,
I feel like could that not be a bigger waste of time?
Although I think TikTok is a nightmare of an app. I think it's the worst app. The challenge is that it is because of its. If you're trying to do a YouTube channel or trying to do whatever, being a creator on there's major advantages to it because it's not totally saturated. But they don't vet the age of the people that are on there. I mean, the dancing, the et cetera is like it's the constant like dopamine hits that I think is more intense and unchecked than any other platform. And I think it's just so addicting. I think people it's hard to get off of there. And I told you, I'll tell the story. I was on there and I'm looking and there's some scantily clad woman dancing and I'm thinking, oh, she's attractive. I wonder the algorithm obviously figured out that I would like this particular video. And at the end of the video, she goes, okay, so much, I'm done with that dance. And now I'm going to go do homework. And I was like, what am I watching? This girl, hopefully she's getting her doctorate and she's really like 25, but probably not. Right. And I didn't search out young girl dancing, but the algorithm obviously knew that I would like that video. And I think it's a pretty dangerous path to go down. Like there are people that are just scrolling and they give you progressively more and more sort of unhealthy shit to look at. Like I really do think it's a dangerous platform in that way.
Well, and I think, honestly, I feel like that lately with Instagram. Like Instagram used to be my friends and like stuff. I get so many ads that like I feel like they know my soul. And so I feel like I can't even look at Instagram because it's mostly ads to me, not the content that I was in. And I just feel like the whole thing, I think there is a huge downfall to social media. Yeah. Plus, especially like you hear about people going in that are on the negative, like what would it be on my mom's social media if she did it?
It will be very intense political stuff.
I know. And like, yeah. Anyway. So I wanted to talk to you about relationships.
Okay.
And like, what do you think? Is there anything that makes a relationship super healthy? And does a super healthy relationship impact your career?
Well, yes, a healthy relationship impacts your career.
How?
Well, if you're not miserable, if you're in a bad mood when you go to work, then that's not going to help you perform professionally. Is that what you mean?
What would be like the best partner? Like, what would be a socially healthy?
I know you've got some research. You're like trying to lead me into. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I was reading an article, and I was trying to avoid the article because I feel like you like so many details. Anyway,
it's one of these Psychology Today articles that's going to have like no good content. Go ahead.
But it says a happy and stable partnership most helps you be more likely. You're more likely to be successful in your career with people that have happy and stable relationships.
That makes sense.
And actually, Sheryl Sandberg said that the most important decision for a woman is who they marry for their career.
Oh, that makes sense. And I agree.
So,
do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. And so I was going over, I like one of the things that they said was that having a psychologically flexible spouse is the best for your career. Do you know what that means? I took a picture of it.
I can try and define. I mean, I know what psychological flexibility is.
What is it?
Just like your level of, like it's interesting. Like everybody always wants to figure out like what, there's this concept of cognitive agility, and there's like all these assessments out there trying to measure cognitive agility. And the reality is that cognitive agility is really just a combination of your flexibility from a personality standpoint and then your intellectual horsepower. And so what that's essentially saying is if you're comfortable adapting and comfortable viewing things from different angles and you adjust well, right? If you don't get anxiety when things are different, then you become more adaptable. So you're more able to navigate a complex work environment, or maybe you're more able to navigate a spouse that needs additional time, all of a sudden, versus if you don't have any flexibility, you don't have that ability to adapt, then when your wife says, hey, I want to go for this new job, it's going to require me to travel or whatever, then the spouse will become reticent about the change. I think that's, of course, that makes sense. Is that what she was saying?
Yeah. There was this researcher that I thought was interesting. He did, his name was Joshua Jackson, and he followed 5,000 couples over 5 years. Mm-hmm. And he was looking for personality characteristics and markers of success for income and job satisfaction for the couple, like to, kind of measure what were the characteristics that helped a spouse, what kind of partner you would need.
Okay.
And so to climb the career ladder.
Can you, were you not talking to the microphone?
Okay. So what they found was spouses that had a high degree of conscientiousness were better than the non-conscientiousness, which is like my biggest insecurity, that I'm not conscientious enough.
I know, but I don't feel like you define, what is it? How do they define conscientiousness?
They didn't define it. And then the other thing is they nudge their better half all the time to do better. And they do it by setting their own example of doing better.
Okay, I don't quite know what's going on with the article, but here's what I can just say. Healthy people are going to be healthier in every area of their life. Like that is a problem where you have people that are, like, this happens all the time with addiction. I have whatever addiction I have, and I feel like shit about that addiction. And so in my relationship, I don't want any judgment about what I'm doing around that negative behavior. So I don't judge you. And you have shit that you're embarrassed about, but you don't want judgment about that. So you just don't judge me. And so we have this sort of relationship where we are complicit in each other's negative behaviors, and we just move forward and we say our relationship's really healthy. But because we individually aren't healthy, we're allowing this like negativity around us, and we're not going to excel professionally. The relationship really can't grow, right? We're like in this like mutually agreed upon negative state. So I'm not sure if that's what they're talking about, but certainly if you are conscientious and goal-oriented and you have expectations for yourself and expectations for your partner, like no question, you're going to perform better professionally and perform better interpersonally. Yeah.
Well, that makes total sense.
Right?
I just thought it was a good article.
Good. Okay. Okay, good.
But that does make a lot of sense. And I do feel like there are couples in our life that, like, they are not psychologically healthy, and so I feel like they just bring each other down all the time. So
yeah. So
that's interesting.
Can we do some pop psych? So you have a segment which is the true false segment, and I'm going to introduce a new segment which is the popular culture segment. Okay. So the first one is, what do you think about Hilaria Baldwin? And I'll give you a global summary. Okay, I'll give you what I know. Hilaria Baldwin, married to Alec Baldwin, was born in Boston. I think she's traveled to Spain a lot, but she's born in Boston. And her name was Hillary something, but she renamed herself Hilaria, or wants to go by Hilaria, acts like she's got a Spanish accent sometimes. And there's been a lot of like debate about, is she really Spanish, or is she making it up, or what is this attention-seeking behavior? What do you think?
Well, I think the world probably wants to know your take. I'll tell you my take.
Well, Allison's bilingual, so I feel like you have a better. Although I've never seen you slip into speaking with a Spanish accent.
No, but I didn't. I speak another language, but I had to learn it. Like, I think she I think it's different for her because she grew up probably going back and forth constantly. And you know what? So like I think it's so mean that the media is going after her. That's my personal opinion because I have friends that like are Indian and they talk normal to me, and then they talk to their parents. They have an Indian accent. Also, I had a girlfriend in elementary school that had a British accent because her dad was from England, and so like she talked with a British accent, but she was definitely born in the States. And even here, like the little toddler has a Kiwi accent.
Okay, but all of the I know everybody you're talking about, and in every case, it's happening in the moment, like when your friend is talking to their parents, speaking a different language, or the Kiwi, the dad is from New Zealand and has that accent, so the kids adopted that accent. Hilaria or Hillary goes in and out of that accent, not because she's just talked to her parents. Like to me, it is. I mean, first of all, I don't care. I don't care about her. I don't care about any of it. So I agree that this is like, who gives a shit? And to me, this is like this classic, this classic need to be interesting and unique.
Oh.
And I think this is like there is just something. To me, it feels like there are people that aren't confident enough in their own substance as people, and so they have to artificially insert, complexity or these just like little cool things about them. And I think for her, I mean, it's funny because I don't know anything about her, but I have constantly over the years heard her or Alec have to explain how you pronounce her name, Hilaria, because people aren't used to saying that. And I feel like they like the fact that she has a unique name. And I think she likes the fact that she can go back and forth between Spanish and English. And there's like the video that I saw where she's on a talk show and she can't remember the word for cucumber. And she has to, how you say? And it's like, Hillary, you know how to say cucumber. Like, give me a break. It's like, I just think she so desperately needs to have some nuance to her personality.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you're getting wrapped up in that.
Oh my God.
I gotta tell you, like, literally, if someone is speaking a different language around me, it may not be the languages I speak. I revert to Spanish.
Okay, but
it's so like
Allison, she's not speaking Spanish. She's not talking to a foreigner in that moment. She's talking to an English speaker on the news, and all of a sudden she has this heavy accent and can't remember the word for cucumber.
But do you think she gets nervous? And I don't know.
No.
I can't imagine someone being
false.
You may be right. I don't know. Like, I don't follow pop culture very well, which is not. So I don't know. I haven't seen her, and I think it's funny that someone like spent the time investigating it. But I don't know. Like, I'm gonna err on the side that she's not that person. I'm gonna trust her and say like she just didn't remember how to say cucumber. And like, what if she didn't remember? Like, you know how she was on a cooking show, but she's not an actress. And like, what if she was like, she couldn't remember the name for cucumber because she got nervous? That would totally happen to me. And then it was easier for her to say like, how do you say that in English? Am I giving her too much of the benefit of the doubt?
Yeah, but I guess it's endearing that you give her the benefit of the doubt, because I think she just feels.
No,
it feels fake to me.
Tony Villar, Antonio Villagrosa, whatever, the mayor of LA,
old mayor of LA.
Yeah, he completely changed his name so that he could get the Hispanic vote. I think that's weird.
Yeah,
that's like a weird. Like,
so
you were not born with that name.
Do you think she was born? Do you think her parents named her Hilaria?
Maybe they called her Hilaria.
Okay, all right, fine, maybe. All right, next I have next pop culture discussion topic. Lori Loughlin from Full House. puts her daughter into USC or tricks USC into bringing on her daughter, right? Goes to jail. Now she's coming out of jail, and now she wants to go back to an acting career. What say you?
Well, I'd like to first be. I'm so this thing that these parents did was so elitist that I can't even wrap my head around it. I'm like, it is so shocking to me that I mean, it is so elitist, and they're like the first ones to like. It's just like, I don't know.
You've started a lot of sentences. What do you? I get the elitist and what? What do you think?
To think that like to mentally justify yourself, to give whatever so that your kid, just be honest, you're giving $500,000 so your kid can get in. Like, why do we have to go through the rigmarole of having a fake rower or like, like I bet Lori Loughlin's kid would have just gotten in because she's Lori Loughlin and at USC. Like,
well,
why?
Lori. Well, I don't think that Lori thought her daughter would get in. That's the which I think people have talked about this, and I think her daughter did a Red Table Talk, which I've not heard, but her daughter was a very popular YouTuber, and like successful, and I think was performing well or whatever, and I'm sure her daughter wouldn't have gotten into USC, or at least it would have been tight because Lori had to, whatever. But the fact that Lori had no confidence in her daughter's ability to get into college is what's devastating. Like, what if you found out that your parents really didn't think you had the horsepower or skill or work ethic or whatever it takes to get into school? And then, I mean, that would be, to me, that's the most traumatic piece of this, is knowing that your parents don't believe in you.
Well, and do you think, because Lori Loughlin had a very big career, do you think that she paid money because maybe she felt guilt about her mothering? Not that having that sounds terrible, but maybe like she had her own, like, mother guilt, and she's like, here, I can make it better this way.
I think that she felt, I don't know. I think she felt I think she felt like she earned it for her daughter. Like, she's wealthy because she has this, incredible talent to act. And I think she thinks that she's earned every bit of her income. And I think she believed that she had that she should be able to, I think that she had cultivated a life where she was told she was more important than everybody else. And that, I don't think she thought she was unfair. I think she thought she was smarter and deserved it. I think she probably convinced herself that she needed it, or she had it was okay for her to do it uniquely because she's special. That's what I think's probably going. I think she's got that narcissistic characteristic.
Yeah, I could see that, or I could see like she didn't want her daughter. Like, her daughter would have gotten into whatever, the University of Maine or something.
Oh, that's
and she didn't want her daughter to go.
That could have been it. Well, it could have been that her daughter was going to go to like Cal State LA, and Lori wouldn't have been able to brag about her daughter, and maybe that was that's interesting.
I don't know. There's so many things, but I mean, I feel like everyone makes mistakes. I don't think we should take her career away from her. I mean, I think it's like, look at what's that, Tiger Woods. He came back after his indiscretions, and
I agree. Like, I don't have a problem with her acting.
And if someone takes her back, like, is Lifetime going to take her back? She had such a big presence on Lifetime.
I think the question should be, do people want to watch her? Yeah. And if people don't want to watch her, then no career. But if people want to watch her, then career. Like, I think I don't think that she should be, like, I don't like when we insert and we change outcome. We should just let her go into the pipeline of actresses. And if she still rises to the top and people still want to watch her, then let that be the outcome. And if no one wants to watch her because they don't like her, then let that be the outcome.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's true for Louis C.K.
Well, yeah, I feel like we have such a culture that, like, they stop people, the cancel culture or whatever.
That's what I mean. Like, the cancel culture, I mean, I think it's a problem. because it just silent. I think that it's a problem because you are guilty until proven innocent. Mm-hmm. But I think that there are people like Louis C.K. is the example that sticks out to me of somebody who got hammered. I think there's debate about what he did and what he didn't do and to the extent to which he should be punished, but he got nailed by the cancel culture, and he's been super successful at comedy clubs, and he came out with not with a Netflix special, but his own special on his own website, and made a ton of money because people still find him funny and people still go to his shows. And so it's like, he got nailed by the culture, but because he's funny, people are still willing to watch him, and I don't begrudge him that. Like, I don't think we should artificially change the outcome. Let him go back into the system, and if he's still successful as a comedian, then
Yeah, I think we're on the same page for that.
All right.
Would you watch another Lifetime with her in it?
I wouldn't watch the first Lifetime with her. I have zero interest.
It's all the same show.
Yeah, I know.
I love them all.
I know. You'll watch it, right?
Anyway, we are doing a staycation tonight, so we're gonna have to let you go. But thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.